It's ridiculous. You know what? They say the fast food is the problem, right? The fast food is the problem. I don't think so. I think our parents telling us to eat it is the problem. Do you ever hear you don't get dessert till you finish your meal? You ever hear that? You don't get dessert till you finish your meal. Think about that for a second. Not only is there an incentive to overeat, but it's pie. That's a fantastic idea, Mom. Your kid's 3 forkfuls away from his own Maury Povich special, and you are rewarding him with pie. Do you know the Maury kids I'm talking about? They had a kid last year, 5-year-old, 230-pound kid. Little meatball of a kid, just meatball, arms and a hat. That was the kid. Feet coming out from under the meatball. How do you raise a meatball kid? That can't happen overnight. There had to be a simpler time when he was like 3'2", 180, you know? And his mom's like, oh, he's getting kind of big, we should do something. And his father goes, well, the doctor says the #1 reason for overeating is shame. And the mother goes, you're right, let's take him on national TV, that'll fucking help. So they parade this little meatball child on national TV for the world to see, and the mother comes out and goes, the problem is he has too much chocolate pudding with dinner. Stop making him pudding, now. He's 5, he can't make pudding. I'm 26, I know how to make pudding. And let's say he knows more about pudding than you and I, which he probably does. Even if he could make it, he can't serve himself. If he saw his little meatball arms, you know they can't reach his mouth anymore. But why America? Why would we be the fat country? Why? If the #1 reason for overeating is shame, and it is, why America? We have nothing to be ashamed about. I said it before. We're the best country in the world. I really do believe we have nothing to be ashamed of. Slavery does it. Vietnam. Woo! That was a doozy. Yeah. Prohibition. It didn't really work out. And unequal pay for men and women, and we're still doing it. And when we took the land from the Indians, what a hoot. And color me bad. Maybe we should have some pie. Then we want to see how we can go from being a fat country to being a slightly less fat country. Because we watched that show, The Biggest Loser. See that show? That's that show where all those fat people get to... You know, I apologize. I do. I'm being a little too harsh. I really am. All those overweight fat people get together. See, that was just fun for me. And the reason why is because people get all sensitive. Don't tell fat jokes. Don't tell fat jokes. Race, religion, politics, that's fine. You can't tell fat jokes. I say I can because fat people tell jokes. They say that they're big boned. That's a fucking joke. You're not big boned. I'm big boned. I'm 6'4". I got big bones. No one's eating pie going, oh, this is going straight to my bones. I got to cut down. My bones are getting huge. These people get together. Who could lose the most weight? And the prize is $250,000. And the commercial calls them heroes. They're not heroes. They're bettering their lives. That's nice. But they had to be bribed to do it. Is that a hero? For $250,000? I think I could lose 170 pounds. I weigh 170 pounds. All my friends said, where'd Steve go? To the bank. And you're watching this show. You're sitting there on your couch, you know, you're watching this show, and you're wearing your old high school football jersey because you haven't done shit since, you know. And you're watching this, and you got Cheeto crumbs all over your lap, and I don't have a problem with Cheetos. They're just not a breakfast food, you know. And you won't change the channel unless you're holding a remote control, even though you're 2 fucking feet from the TV. And you're sitting there going, who's the biggest loser? You win. It's not society's fault. It's not TV. It's not the media. It's not the food. It's our parents. And then when we get old enough, it's us. That's where it ends. When I was 7, I told my father I want to be big like Jose Canseco. He goes, Steve, Jose Canseco's on steroids, which means his balls are shriveled up to the size of teeny little raisins. That was all the parenting I needed. I was 7. I still understood better go to bat with a full 2 scoops. We can't say it's society. We say society causes violence? No. Violence causes society. Violence was here first. We didn't have Marilyn Manson during the Crusades. We torched the fuck out of Europe because we're good at that. Violence is an animal instinct. You don't see a lion ripping that off a zebra carcass going, ah, and his mother's like, he's got to stop playing Grand Theft Auto. This is terrible. It's like, Mom, you can get a tank in that game. And she goes, holy shit, we speak English, which is weird. But Darryl Strawberry, I think, was the worst example of this. Darryl Strawberry called his cocaine addiction a disease. Cocaine's not a disease, it's a problem. Herpes, that's a disease. Because no one willingly tries herpes for the first time. There's never been anyone going, I don't want full-blown herpes, I just want to have some at parties. Let's get a few herpes. One herpes, can I get a herpes? I just saw a guy turn his head like I asked him specifically. Then what did we do? We gave Darryl drugs to get him off drugs. That's a brilliant idea. Give him different drugs. Different drugs. That's what we do now when we have a problem. We drug it, right? We drug it. This kid's too much energy, drug him. This kid's too lazy, drug him. This kid's in the middle, drug him. We have leftovers. I had one drug when I was a kid, one, and it was Fred Flintstone, and that was the only drug I had. And now we've gone from 10 million strong and growing to each kid drugged and slowing. Like, that's where we are. We take drugs for so many things. We take drugs for being bad at sex. That's now become a disease. Being bad at sex is a disease because of the Levitra commercial. You ever see that commercial? Where they throw a football through a tire swing? A football through a tire swing? No. Darryl Strawberry doing coke is not a disease, and a kid being a kid is not a disease, and being a one-pump chump is not a disease. We have one disease in America. We have one disease, and that's blaming everyone else for our problems and looking at everyone else for our solutions. And that's our only disease. If you find a drug for that, I'm going to take it. But until then, you leave me be with my 2 scoops. And I'm throwing a football through a tire swing on my own goddamn terms. And let me just add, gentlemen, if your penis looks like a football and your girlfriend looks like a tire swing, see a doctor anyway. Just be like, it's weird, she's on a rope. What is? It says Michelin on her ass. What? And it's got a valve stem. And it was huge in that joke. Her ass was ginormous. I hope that translates to TV.